Here we are back again. Another wonderful Saturday.
Hey, what's going on?
Let me put some mood music on.
Yeah.
There we go. Now, Matt, nice to see you again.
You too.
I think there's a few things we need to talk about today.
Just a few?
And you know that I have this aversion to talking politics all the time. So we're going to take the politics out of it, and we're going to talk about the human element aspect of it.
Gotcha. That's a good idea.
Okay, so we have this thing that happened with Martha's Vineyard where the governor of Florida sent 50 immigrants from Texas via plane to Martha's Vineyard under the guise of, there's going to have jobs waiting for them and so on and so forth. Now, yeah, okay, he may have done it for some stupid political showboating, but I think in the process he forgot to remember that these are people.
Well, that never played a part in it for him. Not even remotely. You can tell by what and how he did what he did.
What confuses me about the whole thing now, I understand he wants to be the next Trump. I get it. That's fine. But what I don't understand...
Next Trump president is what he wants to be. More precise.
What I don't understand is why the governor of Florida took people from Texas and sent them to Martha's Vineyard, and it wasn't the governor of Texas that did that.
I thought these were people from Florida. They're from Venezuela.
They were from Texas. He flew them from Texas.
Then it was something they collaborated with together. That'd be it. But I know it cost Floridian $12 million for that stuff.
Yeah. That is true. That is true. 50 immigrants with children. Wives,
some needing medical care, they weren't getting it.
And they were flown to a place that had no idea they were coming.
And they were lied to about it. Yeah,
they had no idea where they were going. They were told they were going to Boston.
On a restaurant kitchen placemat.
They told them they were going to Boston.
Yeah.
And instead they ended up on an island of Martha's Vineyard.
Sorry, I heard something. Yeah, I know. They went to Martha's Vineyard. Of all places, I mean, their resources are limited. They're coming out of season, so, it's not like Martha's Vineyard has the resources that the mainland does.
It's not only that,
or whatever.
It's not only that, but they don't have a social services department on.
Exactly, they don't need to. Right? They have. They're sustaining what they have.
To them. Right. It's not even close to them. So they got together and they put beds together for 50 people, shelter for 50 people, food and clothes for 50 people.
They use people's homes. Yeah.
And it took them, no time at all to organize and get it done. But
that's not the only.
The South couldn't do that. Oh, I know. I heard they did it to either Washington or Delaware.
Delaware, I believe. Yeah. And from what I'm understanding, go ahead.
My question is, and a lot of people brought this up. Yeah, it may be considered kidnapping. I think it's more human trafficking.
I've heard both. So I suppose they're going to go with the one that sticks the best. Because I know Martha's Vineyard, they've already announced that they're going to take every legal step they can. Some of these people have to be in front of a judge on Monday. That's just not possible. It's It's not feasible for them to do that.
Oh,
They've got hearings.
It's not just in front of a judge. They're in Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts, and they have to be in front of a judge in Washington State, or in Washington, D.C., or in Minnesota.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's no way they could do that. These people are scrambling right now to get a hold of these courts and go, no, this ain't going to be able to happen. Because what they did was they gave them different court locations so that they couldn't make it, and then they would be instantly deported.
Yes, they gave them every chance to fail. Even using their addresses as homeless shelters throughout the country. It's just stupid. These people do not have addresses in the U.S. None of them.
Okay, let's analyze this for a second. What drives a person to be that evil to another person, especially children?
Vote. You want vote? You think
votes would make you lose your humanity?
What humanity? They don't have votes. Yeah. They can't afford that right now. It looks weak. It's not patriotic. It's not Christian enough.
Let me ask you a question. If he chose your state as one of the states to send him,
I'd love that.
And your governor or whoever came to you and said, hey, can you house one or two of these people? Would you do it?
It's a good question. I don't know. I have a pretty small house. I could take maybe one person or a couple.
That's why I said one or maybe two, but
well, I say a couple because one bed. I'm not going to overcrowd my house though. That would ruin my resources. I might let someone pick a tent in my backyard. I might let them do that.
And you wouldn't have a problem with them using the facilities?
Of course not. No. I mean, we'd have to work it out, of course. We'd have to be smart about it. I'm not saying they have to live in their tent, but, when they go to bed or whatever, they can sleep. That's what it is. But of course they in the AC and live out through the day. But I would expect, them to be guests in their home and help me keep it clean and share the responsibilities, just like anybody else would. Those things happen, and that'll be fine. And that's what they seem to be getting from these people there. These are people that are decent, people that just, they're cooperating, they're doing good death.
They said they said they're not rapists, murderers, or drug dealers. They're just people. Mm-hmm. I probably would. Because A, I could use the extra hand around the house. And B, this is not a bad neighborhood. This is not a bad neighborhood. So nobody would bother them, really. And even if they did,
But the thing is I've experienced this type of immigrant before, and my experience has always been good. They're hardworking, they want to help, they want, hey, what can I do?
Right.
What do you need? What how can I help you in some fashion to repay or whatever? That's always the response I've got. And I've seen a couple of weird panhandlers before, but that goes from the person.
Can you come a little closer to the microphone?
Yeah, it doesn't matter where they're from or anything like that.
But so knowing it's a stranger, would you be able to take them in?
I've been the stranger myself sometimes, so I get it. I've been homeless myself. I understand it.
What would make? First of all, I understand that the governor's in deep shit for costing the state $12 million. But what would make the people of that state happy and proud to know that they did this to another human being? The people, not the politicians, the people.
That's probably not the story they're spinning it out. They're probably spinning it a whole nother way. He flew a video person on the airplane with them so he could document the reaction of the Democrats when they showed up. And they didn't get their sound. They didn't get their sound bite. It failed. He doesn't have a sound bite.
That blew up in his face.
It did. I have a friend.
Oh, it's a cat. I thought it was a dog.
It's Darwin. He
Hello,
doesn't
cat.
know what he wants to do yet.
Hi.
Just passing through. Come on, you got the table. Weirdo.
Now, I just don't get. I mean, I'm a different kind of animal because I don't get how he could sleep at night knowing what he did to people.
But I mean, we imagine he's been doing this for a while. DeSantis has been he's been a piece of shit the whole time. It's just on a different level. And now this is becoming more and more acceptable by what he sees in front of him are his crowd saying, yeah, great. But I don't know. When it comes time to vote him out, we'll see. That's when the voters will show themselves. This November, we're going to see a lot of that. We're going to either lose the House, we're going to keep it, or we're going to lose the Senate, or we're going to keep it. We're that close. So the people's votes are going to speak volumes this November. So we're either going to be really far, or we're going to have a chance of doing okay. You know, I don't like most of the people in there now, but at least a Democrat I can somewhat control, and I can vote him out for it. You know, and it's hard to, once the Republicans in there, they cheat so much, it's so hard to get them out. You know, they rig the system against the ball.
Oh, I know. And now
it always rolls back to a political thing. It's just, get out of my cloud. Oh, my buddy's eating my flowers. But yeah, yes, the human aspect is there, but it's interwoven into the political stuff because it's a problem, and that's how they see these people. They see these people as pieces of shit. They're not people in their eyes, and that's what they're trying to make all their voters realize is that no, we don't. These people are trash. What the fuck do we need these people for? They're a menace to our society. Let's ship them off. But you know, I don't understand that some of the base is actually buying into this and believes it and think he's right. You know, that's the part that shocks me is that he's getting support.
Right.
That's the problem. Our education, all kinds of things have been changed to such a degree that we don't have that knowledge that you and I grew up with when we learned civics in school. You know, and we learned about history, American history. You know, and we learned about the Civil War and the Revolution. So, you know, that they don't teach that kind of stuff like they used to us. Not in the Southern states. They're trying to whitewash it. You know, there isn't two sides that are one and both good, no matter how you spin Hitler. It's just not doable. You can't. It's one of those things that there isn't no positive spin on Auschwitz. It's a tragedy to be minor, you know, and how that schools now have to find the positive spin on the other side of history. Like slavery, yeah, what's the benefit? Well, some slave owners were really good. They were still fucking slave owners. I don't care how good they were. They were slave owners. There's no good to them. They owned fucking people for their benefit.
Oh, this is interesting. Okay.
When you let me rant, not listen, dude.
Oh, I listened. I absolutely listened. And here's some interesting information for you. The immigrants, the migrants, whatever you want to call them, they were picked up in San Antonio,
Okay.
sent to Florida, at which point DeSantis paid for a chartered flight, private chartered flight.
So Abbott sent them to Florida to plan.
And then some
They
woman,
worked together on that shit.
some woman only known to them as Perla, gave each of them $200 to get on the flight.
Perla, I heard the name. Heard the name earlier today.
With the promise of a better life in Massachusetts.
Right. Martha's Vineyard is different.
So he paid them and threw them out. I didn't even know you could kick someone out of your state.
I don't think you can like this.
Especially without a hearing or a court proceeding.
No due process, right? I have a feeling he's going to be in some hot water for this stuff, and Abbott too, probably, which would be nice. But we got to start with some indictments. We got to get the ball rolling, and it seems like they're doing one investigation after another. They keep uncovering new things to keep the investigation going. They've got to have enough for some indictment. They can add shit later. But
did you see the links I sent you today?
I don't know. I've been kind of busy today, so probably not.
About Mike Lindell?
What about him?
He's announced he's suing the FBI.
Yeah.
For destroying his business by taking his phone.
Well, if he runs his entire world out of his phone, I think running his business is going to be the least of his work.
Well, I think it would be funny to see him go to court.
I think it'd be great to see him go to prison.
But his lawyer, I don't understand. I used to respect the shit out of that guy. And now he's turned into a celebrity joke. Alan Dershowitz was one of the best lawyers in the country. And I don't know if it's age, senility, or what.
Right.
But he's been on cases that don't make any sense for someone of his stature to take.
Ken Starr died a couple days ago.
But Dershowitz was more of an appeals lawyer.
Yeah, but didn't they work together in the first impeachment trial?
Yeah.
Ken Starr was involved.
Yeah, the Starr Report.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Lindell says he's announced it. Breaking news on Steve Bannon's podcast that he's suing the FBI and the federal and the federal government for illegally seizing his phone.
Right. Which they certainly want. That was signed by the judge.
Right.
So he could piss off. He shouldn't have had so much stuff on his phone.
And he wants his phone returned immediately. Yeah, good luck with
once
that.
they downloaded everything off it, sure. I hope they wiped his phone by mistake or something happens. Oh, that would be just great. Here's your phone. Back you all reset for you, buddy.
I want those. Yeah. Your microphone is going in and out.
Yeah, it is a little bit far.
I want to see their court proceedings on television.
Yeah, I'd like to see that television. Yeah.
I think guys like Lindell and Trump and
Definitely.
Steve Bannon should go as well.
Yeah, that'd be good. But too late. He's already had one that he lost, and he's about to lose his next case in New York. So the pardon, because they're going after the same thing, but they're doing it from the state level. His pardon doesn't work. And he was already
So from what I understand, they're also looking at one of the Trump children.
Yeah. Either Eric or Don or both.
No, they said one. I'm pretty sure it's Eric.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Pretty sure it's Eric.
Or Don.
No, when he went in front of when he went for the deposition, he claimed more Fifth Amendment privileges than his dad.
Wow, really?
And so they said, yeah, we're going to look at both of these guys.
Oopsies.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. A pardon, even a presidential pardon, means that you're not exonerated. You're just released. It's a guilty plea, is it not? It's an admission of guilt.
It's an admission of guilt. But well, for the president, it's only federal. If a governor pardons you, it's for the state. It doesn't absolve you of federal crime. So a governor can absolve the federal, but not the state, but not the federal. I believe it.
Which is how they can get away with what they're getting away with.
Well, except for Steve Bannon in New York. It's an open and shut case because he's already been found guilty. So they're running the same case. They're running the same case on the state level. He's going to be found guilty. The evidence is overwhelming, and that's for that fraud for Build the Wall. Right.
Yeah, didn't he buy like a boat or something with that money?
No, they found him on a Chinese billionaire boat. The first time for that federal case, the one he was pardoned for.
Well, I also heard that George's Herschel Walker is gaining ground. All of a sudden,
they're cheating somehow.
To where he's almost tied with Warnock.
Well, they've been going up and down.
Are people not smart enough to know this guy's a moron?
No, they're probably not. They don't see. You gotta remember, they don't watch anything mainstream. If it's not on Fox News, they don't watch it. Or if it's not in OAN or whatever. So they can say whatever they want on the mainstream media because these people just don't see it. They'll never watch it. They'll never flip because they've already said it's such fake news and bullshit that they won't watch it.
Well, let's put politics aside for a second, and let's look at the human aspect again. You've got Herschel Walker on Fox News. You've got people watching Fox News. I've seen his interviews on Fox News. He's a moron.
Yeah,
even on Fox News. Yeah. Now, if they had, let's say, a non-political guest, just some college student or something that said the things that he did, those people would know he's a moron.
And he wouldn't be back on.
So why are they not realizing he's a moron now?
Because they're not seeing these interviews. They're not.
Are Republicans putting on blinders, or are they stupid?
Both. Because they are walking around like this. You know what it's like to try to talk to people. You know what it's like to troll. Every single time I make any kind of progress or have a counterpoint, they go off the deep end and start yelling and then fuck you and hang up. They can't hear that when you begin to poke over them, they can't see. I'm tired. That's why they've given up on trying to explain Antifa, because they refuse to believe what it is. And it drives me nuts.
Yeah, apparently there's still people that believe that Antifa did the January 6th.
Antifa's an idea. It's a movement. It's not a person. It's not an entity. It's what you should have as a bumper sticker. That's what Antifa is. Anti-fascist.
Well,
there's
in
no
that sense,
Antifa organization. It doesn't exist. In the BLM,
well,
it's physical. It's a physical.
Well,
entity.
if you have people who subscribe to the ideology of Antifa and they gather together, that's an organization. I don't give a fuck what you say.
Not an organization. That becomes a movement. That's a movement. It's different. Like the civil rights movement back in the day. Okay. That was a movement.
Like the Black Panthers.
Yes, sure, but that was different. They were part of the movement. But they were a separate group within themselves. Like BLM, you could say they're part of the anti-fascist movement, sure. Because they're about that as well. They're about anti-fascism. This is what we're experiencing. We get the DeSantises and the Trumps and whatever to gain power, and we're going to have a fascist country. That's just that. Forget voting. Voting will be gone. There will be no such thing as voting. We'll have state electors, and they'll decide who runs things. It won't be us anymore. That's the goal of right now, the Republicans, if they get control. 100%. They hate voting.
Now, y'all ready for this? This is going to be fun. We'll be right back after this message. And when we do, we'll get an exclusive look into the life of Matt. We'll be right back.
If you can see me, motherfucker.
I can. We're back.
Thanks.
No problem, man. I warned you this was coming sooner or later.
Yeah. But you're supposed to tell me about it. Go ahead.
Oh, Matt, we're doing it.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm stuck enough for this, man.
It's not a really. I mean, we're not going to deal too much into stuff that's of a sensitive nature.
You're right. We won't.
We grew up in the same town, which is true. Went to the same schools. Half of those schools are no longer there.
Right. Apparently, like the same.
Green Meadow and Clinton Heights are gone.
Are they?
Yeah.
Clinton Heights is gone? I didn't notice it was. Oh, it's something else now. The building's still there.
Clinton Heights is now the police station and courthouse.
Yeah.
Fought over the same girl.
At least once.
Went through junior high and high school, and we both went our separate ways. Once high school ended, which way did you go, Matt?
Oof.
What happened to you after that?
Boy, that's a long answer.
Okay, let me
I can give you the short of it. That's fine.
Let me feed you a little bit and see if you can bite this. Did you immediately leave high school and join the military?
No.
Okay, but you eventually did.
Yeah, 4 or 5 years after. I went in when I was
when you were 19.
Yeah.
And you graduated high school when you were 17.
Right after my mom passed away, I went in the military.
And you graduated high school when you were 17 or 18?
Actually, I didn't graduate high school technically until I was about 28 in Florida. I went back to high school in Florida at night for like 3 months.
Okay. So what happened when you left high school the first time?
I made it about halfway through sophomore, 10th grade. Uh-huh. And that was it. Well, I was homeless then. I decided for whatever reason that I wasn't living at home anymore. And so I went another way.
Right.
So then I realized I couldn't, school was just not possible. Yeah, I couldn't go to school like that. That was just stupid. So anyway, but I worked at, like at the Autovision, me and another guy, he's Annis. What the hell is his first name? Anyway, he committed suicide not long after that. Not Donnie.
Kenny?
Huh?
Kenny?
No, not Kenny.
Matt?
No. He was my age. Anyway, I can't remember his name because it was such a long time ago.
Okay.
But anyway, so he killed himself. But him and I used to work at the Autovision after the weekend picking up trash for $3 an hour cash. Mm-hmm. So that was one of my first jobs. Then the bakery where Manor House Pizza is. in the front of that bakery. And I worked in there for quite a while at night at that time, 14, 15. I was working under the table. They paid me cash, gave me whatever bakery items I could hold. So I worked for them for a while. I love that bakery. I don't think it's in business anymore because Manor House Pizza's in the back now. There used to be a bank at one point, I think, back when Kmart and Price Chopper were still there. I lived at a Price Chopper. Oh, yeah, man, at night. I knew the guys.
A lot of shit from Price Chopper, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, man, I survived out of that store. But I knew the guys at night. I would help them sometimes to stock the shelves at night. My brother worked there for a while. And plus the stuff I stole was, they knew it was just for me. It wasn't like I was stocking up shit,
Right.
But no, carton of smokes here and there, stuff like that. Yeah, they kept me alive for a while. Oh, yeah, man. Whatever. I'll take it. But I mean, I don't know. You kind of knew me back then, dude. I was a fucking, I don't know what the hell I was back then. I was direct aimed for trouble. And how I avoided it, I really don't know. But that experience though kind of taught me a lot. I learned a lot during that time. I wouldn't.
You mentioned that
without that.
Well, you mentioned that the passing of your mom. After that, you went into the military. Were you still homeless at that time?
I had met somebody like during that process. So when I was going through the military, I had what concert was it? It was Journey and Mr. I believe it's SPAC, and I hitchhiked up there. And anyway, that's where I wound up meeting wife number one. So anyway, when I went into the military and I went active duty after that, and then that's when I got married. Is when I went on active duty.
Now, did you go in because your mom passed? Did you go in because your mom passed and you figured you had nothing left here, or did you have other reasons?
No, I had a whole bunch of reasons. One, I was tired of being broke all the time, homeless. I'd had probably every job in the area. I mean, there were sometimes I never even went back to get my paycheck. I wouldn't even call. I just, fuck you, I'm not going back. So my attitude was crappy. But the military changed me on that. At that, I knew I needed something, and I figured, what the hell? And it was the only one, because I didn't have a diploma, none of the other services would let me in. So that's why I went Navy Reserve. And then just didn't go to drills. I asked them, I said, how do I get active duty? They're like, don't come to drills. Okay. So I didn't do that. For like 2 months, 3 months, I missed drills, and then I got 28 months of active duty, which is just what I wanted. So thank you. So that, excuse me, that's how I got around that, by going active duty.
Now, what was your specialty? What was your main course in the military?
Quartermaster is what I became. Navigation, stuff like that. Driving the ship during special operations, that kind of thing. Believe me, I did a lot of that. It was tough. That was hard, man. A lot harder than you think.
Now, when you were doing that, did they teach you the mechanics of what you were doing? In other words, if something busted, how to fix it? Well,
for what I was doing, no. I mean, I would plot our course. I'd figure the weather sometimes, things like that,
So basic navigation skills.
Yeah. No. A little bit more basic.
At what point did you pick up your airplane skills, repair skills?
That was part of my brother's doing. He convinced me. He was in the Air National Guard at the time. And I was living in Florida then. And just, again, tired of going from one shitty friggin' minimum wage job to another. And he said, go to school, dude. He sent me some information on a school nearby, told me about ways I can get Pell Grants and things like that. And I said, fuck it. And my wife at the time was making enough money, Peg, who I'm with now still. And she put me through school, 2 years of college. Well, she encouraged me to go to night school for my diploma too. So I did that first.
Well, I want to ask.
Went on to college.
That was after the military. Why didn't you stay in the military?
I don't know. I should have. I really did. I had a good time. I loved it. I went.
Well, at least when you realized that, at least when you realized that stuff was going shitty where you were, why didn't you re-enlist?
I could have, but where I was going to be dead end. I knew that I wouldn't be able to climb and rank at all because of the structure on my boat.
Right.
And I was homesick too. You know, I hadn't seen my wife in like 2 years at the time, pretty much. You know, a few leaves here and there, but that's it. Plus, I didn't spend much time in the country. I spent all my time either in the North Atlantic or in the Mediterranean or something like that, Caribbean for that matter. We spent a lot of time in Guantanamo Bay in Cuba too.
Did you ever see any action yourself?
Some, a little bit, not much. We've seen the aftermath of a lot. We cleaned up a lot of messes and like when one of the shuttles exploded, I forget which, we wound up getting some of the wreckage for it. We picked it up floating out of sea.
Right. Now,
Yeah.
now you went to school for aeronautics?
Aviation maintenance technology is what it is. AMT.
And how long was the schooling?
2 years.
And it was just like a regular college where you had to take regular math courses and social studies and shit too?
Actually, it was broken up different than that. It was broken up into like airframe 1 and 2, general 1 and 2, power plant 1 and 2, that kind of a thing. So so
it was a specialized school.
Yes, they prepared me for my test through because I had to do an oral practical and then 3 exams. And those exams I had to pay out of my pocket. They're almost $900 a piece. And then I had to pay another like
holy crap,
$1,500 for my oral and practical.
Holy
and that
crap!
That was above. That had to come. That was cash. I had to pay for that then. That didn't get financed in. And then
So
20 years.
Let me ask you: you 2 years, all those tests. Did you ever go for your pilot's license?
No, I should have because I did at one point between jobs. Just because aviation changes, I spent a little over a year working for a flight school as a mechanic. So they had pilots that they would train in for whatever, and then they had to repair these airplanes. So I'd have to do a lot of I'd go up with the pilots for the maintenance to check and make sure the maintenance was good. And then once the maintenance passed, they're like, here, it's your plane. So they would teach me how to fly. I've got a few hundred hours flight time, different planes. But yeah, I should have. I was thinking about doing it, and then something came up where American Airlines, I had an offer for them. They were going to move me to Maine. And then, so yeah, I took that instead. My pay doubled.
They were going to move you to Maine to be a repairman?
Yeah, no, full aircraft mechanic. Yeah. And it was American Eagle, the regional carrier for American Airlines. But
and is that where your life turned to shit?
No, aviation changed me for the better. Oh yeah, I love career. This. I
mean, with American Airlines, is that where you got injured?
A career over time. I mean, I worked in construction for a while, concrete. I did a lot of that, which is hard on your body. This is just over time. I mean,
so it wasn't a specific incident that did it.
No, it's a life type of, I work with my body.
So it's a wear and tear.
Yeah, wear and tear. But I do have a degenerative issue, and my career choice compounded that and made it worse.
Now, when you first found out about it, I mean, how did you first find out about it? Was there just all of a sudden some weird pain that you never felt before, or were you like absolutely couldn't walk?
No, I was in bed sleeping, and my shoulder had been giving me some problems, whatever. But whatever, you get stuff like that at work, no big deal. So anyway, I'm sleeping at night, and I went to put my arm around my wife, and I had a pain that through my neck, my arm went numb. I couldn't see any or feel anything anymore. The pain was excruciating. Oh man, I went to a doctor the next day, and he did an X-ray and stuff like that, and said, "Oh shit, you're gonna get an MRI. You're gonna get one in the next couple of days." So yeah, the MRI showed a lot of stuff. They said you need the surgery now, or you're not going to survive.
So it was you woke up, felt something was wrong, went to the doctor, and immediately they were like, time to get under the knife.
Pretty much, yeah. They said that's the choice you're left with right now. Yeah.
Can I ask how long after you did that did you go for the surgery?
I had to only wait for like a week or so to for them to call me for the appointments and whatever. And so that was pretty quick. But I wasn't let go for work. I had to still go back to work. So the next day after my initial waiting for my MRI, I go back to work. We have a maintenance problem in a crappy position in the plane, and I'm looking up at it and be like, yeah, nah, I'm done. That's good. And
So after the surgery, you immediately quit working?
Oh, no, before the surgery. That before the surgery was the last time I worked. Before this. Well, I had a supplemental policy, the disability that I'm so glad I got. And that the short term kicked in right after all my vacation time and stuff was used up. And so I didn't miss a beat on pay. And that gave me 60% of pay before tax. So that was almost like having a full paycheck.
Right.
Because they take a fair amount out in taxes on me because I'm in a higher tax bracket. I'm letting my dog out.
Fascinating, isn't it?
So yeah. So anyway,
now, did you ever go back after the surgery?
I thought I was close a few times to going back, but my doctors wouldn't release me, and I knew that they weren't done. I still had problems, and that's why I did the other one. So now instead of having, I don't know, this much of titanium, I've got like 7 inches now total. Almost my entire neck from like C4 down all the way to my thoracic 2 is all one piece.
Now,
so I only have a little bit of here that allows me to move around.
I understand that you couldn't go back to airplane maintenance like you were, but did you go and do anything else instead?
No, they like when I had to go in front of a judge, and they said I could, like, as long as I had a chair, they could stand up and sit down when I needed to. I could be a cashier. I could be a small electronics installer, which my hands are all fucked up. If I could work with my hands, I could still be a mechanic. And then they said something else, one other item. I'm like, well, let me see. I got 30 years experience in aviation. Why can't I be a supervisor? I do have a college degree. But yeah, no. And even my company, they wouldn't. I had to leave the company first, and then they would see about, I was like, yeah, whatever. Fuck you. So, yeah. But,
so it sounds like
my first appeal was lost because my age, I was only a couple months shy of 55. Had I been 55, I would have fell into another category and I wouldn't have lost that time. So the judge purposely denied that claim as soon as he could, because the system designed to fail. I mean, if I didn't have lawyers filling out my paperwork, dude, man, even they hate it. They're like, no, this system is broken so bad that they make it so difficult for the average person just to follow the process. It's very difficult to navigate. And it got, even though last time I had so much paperwork to fill out, the lawyers just did it on the phone. They read the things to me and I told them what I needed to say, and they wrote it all down and submitted it all for me. That's all covered. That's part of my policy. Thank God for that. I don't know how people do it. I really don't. It's a pain in the ass. It really is terrible. It took me 4 years to get it. And if I didn't have this supplemental policy paying to me in the meantime, there's no way I could have kept my house, car. I'd be homeless. I'd be homeless right now. There's no way I could.
But it was a nice back paycheck.
Well, there was like 5 months that, because I had to prove 90% disability. And I was in between doctors. My one doctor that did all the surgery decided to leave the practice, and he didn't want to deal with the Social Security side of it, so he was done. Now I had to go start from scratch with another doctor with only 2 weeks left before my peer review was due. So that was interesting. So yeah, I did get money back, but believe me, I had like maybe $100 left over after I was paying everything back that I was behind on. Like, I borrowed $5,000 from my dad. I had no choice. I didn't even know if I could pay him back. He was the first check I wrote. Paid him off first. Boom. But I had just enough money to pay everybody else up to date. You're frozen.
Well, Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I hear you fine. You're frozen.
Great.
Hi. Good. I get to let my dog in. Am I here alone now or what? All right, I get to rant to myself. Hello. Lou, I love you, man. Hello. I hope you can edit this part out.
Probably not. There we go.
Oh, that's okay. I don't mind. I don't mind. It's fine. I was about to give a lesson on how to use a magnetic induction product here in a second.
See, if it was that bad, I would have just thrown this up and
called it right back.
But you mentioned that you were married when you were in the military.
Yeah, just before during.
Is that where your son came up?
No, he was from number 2.
Now, do you only have the son?
Yeah. As far as I know, anyway.
Right.
Hopefully.
Right. Now, you live in the state of Arkansas.
Don't remind me.
You came from the state of New York.
Yes.
How culturally is there a difference?
Night and day. Yeah, it's very, very different here as far as the people go.
Can you expand on that a little bit?
There's things you don't say in public. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've heard some pretty interesting things in public in New York, but as far as like flat out racism, I see it here. I don't see it in New York. Then the few times I have seen it, the person that it's being said to can fully defend themselves and usually do, and put that person in their place. But down here, the amount of times I see that it's appalling. And restaurant quality, they don't take care of their people. It shows in the food. I don't go out much. It's just not that good. It's not worth that extra expense. I instantly see it when I go back home. It's a different mindset up there. So much better. Now,
the atmosphere may be different in New York, but is the weather better for you down there?
I think it's hotter. I don't like ice in the wintertime. I like snow. Snow is predictable. Ice is not.
Do you have snow in Arkansas? I don't know.
There's some snow here, but it's mostly ice. We get ice storms a lot. Because it's not quite cold enough to snow, but it's too cold to rain.
So you don't like ice, which is why you're not in New York, but you're in Arkansas where all you get is ice.
Here. No, ice is in Arkansas. Snow is fine. I like snow. I'd move back to the snow in a heartbeat. Hey.
But is Arkansas's weather better for you?
I hate the weather
up here, like as in your health.
Fall's kind of nice. I like the fall and the spring.
But then I mean for your health wise, because I know that they say move out west.
I never had allergies until I moved here.
Huh.
Yeah,
I was always under the impression that the more west you move, that the drier the air is, and it's better for you.
Yes, but it's also better for the pollen.
Yeah, it's better for the pollen too.
So if you don't have allergies, the dryness is better. If you do have allergies, the dryness is worse.
Ah.
Just to stick in my 2 cents because I happen to be sitting here.
Yeah, that's the voice.
Cool. Hello.
It's the person in the wall. Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Hello. I'm in the wall.
I'm just throwing my voice. I do a pretty good job of it.
You certainly do. Next time, put on a wig. It'll make it more authentic.
No, I don't want to take off my hat.
Because that hat's in such good shape.
Yeah, right. I like this hat. It's been around. Got character.
It looks it. That's what you call character. I call it worn in.
Broke in, just nice. You saw it when I was up there. I was wearing these.
Yeah.
Yeah, my lucky hat. There, you good? You all right? You want to smoke it for you too?
Hey, Matt, is there anything that you want to tell us that we haven't delved into? Anything about Matt that would surprise us or interest us?
Yeah, I cut off my finger when I was like 4. That was kind of fun.
How much of it? Just the tip?
Pretty much like from here, right here.
Oh, they sewed it back together.
Yeah, yeah. My brother, it was still in the snow. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It saved his finger.
Yeah, it saved my finger.
That's cool.
Probably shouldn't give too much away. I don't want someone to hack into my passwords and shit.
Oh, I hear you. That's why I never tell anybody the names of my pets. Oh, wait, I don't have pets. But if I did, I wouldn't tell their names.
It's much easier to tell their names.
I'm sure you've got imaginary. You have imaginary pets, I'm sure.
I do, but they keep biting me every time I go to sleep, so it's annoying.
Those are called ticks.
Bed bugs.
Oh, that's what that is. Well, they're still my pets. I feed them every day.
Ah, well, good.
I just don't take them for a walk that much.
Good.
Have they been to the vet for their shots?
You're right. Okay, guys.
Well, Matt,
maybe a continuation.
It's been great getting to know you. And I hate to say this, but I suppose the next interview is yours for me. So with that, I will say my goodbyes and your goodbyes, and we will be back next week. Have fun, everybody. See you in the funny papers.